Most people think that back pain after a long flight is just a part of getting older. It's not. It's a positional problem, and if you don't fix it before your next cruise, you could spend the first 2 days of your trip recovering from it instead of enjoying it. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Drew Cruz. I'm a physical therapist who loves to travel and loves to go on cruises, and I've helped dozens of patients go from having pain to not having pain so that they can enjoy the cruise that they have booked and they're excited to go on. And I can also speak to this personally because I have gone on 2 transoceanic flights and know exactly, these tips have helped me to manage that flight, to manage my own stiffness and pain while going on these flights. And it's the exact same stuff that I've told patients before that has helped them as well. In this video, we're going to talk about why we get pain whenever we go on a flight, what we could do while we're on the flight to help to decrease the pain, and most importantly, what to do after the flight in order to get yourself ready to go on embarkation day. The things that we talk about in point 3 might actually surprise you. So you've already booked your cruise, you've already booked your flight, you're ready to go, and I want you to think now about yourself going through security. You've already checked into your flight, you're going through security, you go through the gate, you get on your flight, you get sat down and you're ready to go. You take off, everything's awesome, you're super excited about where you're going. You've been thinking about this cruise for a long time. After a few hours, what you notice is, I gotta get up and go to the bathroom. So you go to try to stand up and your back locks up on you. You start thinking, what have I done? Was there something that I should have done before I got on the flight to prevent this from happening? This must be my age. I'm too old to fly. I'm too old to go on a cruise. I'm too old to sit for this long. Those are natural things to think about. Those are normal things, and a lot of times it's a lot of what I hear from people is that they say, it's just because I've gotten older, this is the reason why my back does what it's doing. But if you look at the people that are also sitting around you on the flight, some of them may be younger than you. They may also be struggling with the exact same thing that you are, and they're not as old as you are. So what's going on here? The actual problem here is not your age, it's the seat that you're sitting in. And it's not just the seat that you're sitting in, it's the lack of movement that comes because you're on a long flight. Think about it this way. Imagine what an airplane seat looks like, and you're picturing it in your mind's eye, you're looking at it. The way that it's normally positioned is something like this. The back of the seat is right here, and the seat is like this. It may be a little bit flatter, but most of the time it's got a little bit of a decline into it. What this actually does is that it is putting your hips into a rotated position back like this. What that does is that it's going to take the natural curve that is in your lumbar spine and flatten it out. It makes your hips roll back. Generally what this does is that this is putting everything on the back on a stretch. The bones, the muscles, the nerves, everything is put on stretch. You add that into long periods of time where you're not getting up and moving around, and what this can do is that it can lead to achiness, stiffness, pain. Those things start showing up. And it's not because anything structurally is wrong with your back. There's nothing damaged because of your back. It's your body's way of telling you, I need to move. I need to get up and go because this sitting here doing nothing is not good for me. So the thing is that this is a position and a movement problem. And the great news is that all of this is fixable. And that's what we'll talk about next. Okay, so now we've established what's actually going on here. What do we do while we're on the flight to help minimize what's going on? I have 4 tips that I think are going to help you out a lot in what you can do while you're on this flight. I tell people all the time, get you a lumbar roll, a lumbar cushion, something like this that you can stick in your carry-on, that you can bring with you. And what you would do is whenever you sit down in your seat, you scoot your hips back as far back in the seat as you can. You take this lumbar roll and put it right above where your tailbone is. Then you're gonna lean back up against it, and it's gonna compress up against the seat just like this. And what that does is that it puts your back into the right position now. It puts your hips in a rotated forward position. It puts your spine into that natural curve that we should all have in our back whenever we're sitting. And what this does, I've had people be able to sit through an entire flight with just this and have no problems out of their back after the fact. I've also had people be able to decrease any nerve pain that may have, any sciatica, anything like that. This has really helped them to be able to manage this. I'll leave a link down below in the description for the product that I recommend people get for a lumbar roll. I will go ahead and say, as an Amazon affiliate, I do get a little bit of a kickback if you buy anything on the link purchased down below, but it's at no extra cost to you. But I'll leave that link down in the description for you if you're interested in looking at that. All right, so the next tip that I normally give people is to pick an outside seat, an aisle seat. I'm like you, I love to have the window seat, but I've also noticed whenever I was flying to Africa that I was in the window seat, and my two friends that were sitting next to me, I wasn't able to get up and move around, go to the bathroom like I wanted to, because most of the time they were sat down and they were asleep, and I wasn't able to get up and move at the same time that I wanted to. So most of the time there's so much compression, they have so many seats in there. If you're sitting in the window seat, it's a lot harder for you to get up and to move around about the cabin. Plus you can't stretch out your legs as much as if you had an aisle seat. So whenever you go in, if you are able to right now, and you could change your seat positioning, I would say try to pick a seat on the aisle. If you can, if you're strong enough and you can handle sitting on the emergency row, try to pick a seat there. But if you don't feel confident about being able to push open the door, move the door, all that stuff in case of an emergency, don't worry about it. There's other options as well. Most flights nowadays have got extra legroom seats for a little bit of an additional cost. If you're able to afford it, I would say try to get those, and then you can pick any seat in that extra legroom section, because you could sit on the window and you might have enough space to be able to get up and move around the people that you're sitting next to, so that you can move around the cabin as freely as you want to, and you won't be disturbing them as much. Related to that last point that we just talked about, being able to stand up and walk around the cabin is going to help decrease the back pain and the back stiffness, because what you're doing is that you're moving your body. You're getting some movement going on there. And what you can do while you're walking up and down, you can walk as far up and as far down the aisle as you can. If you're able to, go around and make laps around the airplane if you're able to, depending on the size of the plane. If you're on a smaller plane, you may just have the one row to go up and down. But if you're on a larger plane that has two rows or two aisles, you may be able to walk down and up and down that without much trouble. The last tip here for long flights on how to prevent back pain is to do some kind of exercise and some kind of movement. Typically, the exercises that I give people to use are either a sitting set of exercises or a standing set of exercises. You can do either or, just as long as you do some kind of movement. Okay, so we've talked about the things that we can do to prevent any back pain while we're on the flight. Now, what do we do once we've landed? This is really important. This is what's going to set apart you being able to enjoy your cruise versus not being able to enjoy your cruise because of back pain. What I typically tell people is whenever you go to baggage claim, go ahead and start doing all of those exercises that you were doing while you were on the flight as well. Do some knee hugs. If you've got to sit down and do that, you're standing around waiting for your luggage anyway, you might as well try to do some movement or do some walking around, something in order to help get your body moving so that you lubricate your joints and you help to decrease the stiffness and decrease any of the pain that you may be having. So again, you can do some knee hugs, you can do some hamstring stretches, you can do some toe touches if you're standing. Go ahead and do some of those back extensions where you're standing, hands on your hips, leaning back, trying to get as much movement going in the back direction as you can. Shoulder shrugs, shoulder circles, neck rolls, any of that stuff is all fair game and good. It is important to do this at baggage claim because, again, while you're waiting on your baggage, you might as well do something to help get you set up and ready to go for the rest of your trip. So now you've got your luggage, you've loaded up into the taxi or the Uber, you've gone to your hotel. Now what do? I typically tell people, if you can, if you feel confident enough, go and walk on the treadmill for about 10 minutes in the fitness center if your hotel has one. If you don't have one, doing a simple walk around the block around where the hotel is, provided that there's good sidewalks and it's pretty easy to walk around at, is a great way to get movement and get your body, again, lubricated, get the joints lubricated so that you help to decrease any stiffness and decrease any pain. Walking is actually a really good way to manage back pain, even with a mild flare-up or a severe flare-up. Typically, we have really good evidence that we suggest to people, and I suggest to people all the time, that if they're have a back pain flare-up, try to do some walking just as much as you can tolerate, because that's going to help to provide those feel-good endorphins and those feel-good neurochemicals that we have in our brain that get sent to your back, and it helps to decrease the pain signals that are coming from your back to your brain. So any kind of walking is good to go. All right, so now we've talked about what you do on the flight, we've talked about what you do after the flight, and now you should be ready to go on embarkation day so that you can really enjoy that cruise that you've been looking forward to for such a long time. So in this video, we talked about why it is that we get back pain, what we can do about it, not just on the flight, but also after the flight, so that we really make sure that you're good to go on embarkation day. I hope that you have found all this information helpful. If you did, go ahead and subscribe. If this is helpful, I've got a lot more content coming just like this for retirees who want to travel without pain running the show. If you enjoyed this, I'd appreciate a like. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below. And I'm curious, if you've got a cruise coming up, where are you cruising to next? Because I love to see where people end up going and what ships they're going on, because I just nerd out and geek out on that stuff. And yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. If you are interested in finding some more content like this that's already on my page, I have a video right over here that you might find really helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.